There are people who don't like when we bring up religion on the show. I don't care. But it's like, I think it's also important for the show because there's talking about consent. You were talking about the circles.
Yeah.
When you read the Bible, a lot of the beasts that we're talking about, or ghosts, even witches, it's in there. Like,
some stuff is just too specific.
It's baked into that whole story, and a lot of this stuff seems to be spilling out of it. Especially if you're talking about the afterlife and all these things, like there are demons or monsters. A lot of this stuff is like a lot of spillover for me.
Right. I mean, if there's something that's incredibly evil, or like supernatural that you're afraid of, then the opposite has to exist.
When did you get into thinking about other things outside of God, though? Like, was there a certain point? I know the abominable snowman was a joke in the beginning, but thinking about aliens or thinking about ghosts.
Man, I want to say 19, my brain just exploded.
Was there something that you were exposed to at that time?
I think I spent a lot of time alone
with
my thoughts.
Isolation.
Yeah, I had like moved schools to a place where I didn't know anyone, and I was just solely focusing on music and school. And I just didn't, like, none of my friends were in the area, and I just kind of thought a lot.
You became more aware then of things because you're alone. It's weird because that kind of sounds like what happened to the world during lockdowns because everyone's isolated to a certain degree. And if you look at the chart of people experiencing paranormal things, it was spiking. So it's something about isolation. I do think.
No, I think there's something to be said about that too. Yeah, I had like really bad acne at the time. I didn't want to go outside and be seen by anybody.
Right.
I put mirrors over my windows, so like
what?
It was just like an enclosed place. I'm like, this is good for creativity, and it kind of was.
Mirrors over the windows, and you're in this room making music and reading about. Who knows what? Ghosts, UFOs.
Yeah. Watching YouTube videos about how the sun's going to blow up the earth. Stephen Hawking says that.
Well, Stephen Hawking was a puppet.
I know.
he can't believe anything that guy said.
I don't.
He was like the Joe Biden of
but even he came around at the end, I think, right?
Well, he said something about don't talk to the aliens, right?
I'm not even sure what he said.
I think he gave a warning saying we shouldn't talk to them. But maybe since he's so wrong about so many things, maybe we should. I don't think we should consult.
Well, I'll never put out a Ouija board and like mess with that. That's for sure.
No. I don't. You don't consult with these things. I wouldn't. Have you done that as a kid, Alex?
Do what?
Ouija boards?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh jeez. And this is why we have the demon from downstairs.
I wonder if you have to be like old enough to really know what you're doing and do it. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think that works.
Yes, she's an naysayer. I think so.
That's why I'm here.
You should be. I met a young lady in Georgia who her story was, you might remember this, but she played with a Ouija board and they did some spell. Then they said that they were all possessed and they like passed out and their grandmother had to say some special prayer over them. Really? They woke up. Yep, she looked like she told me the truth.
I mean, I used to play light as a feather, stiff as a board too.
What is that?
Did that work?
What?
What is
that? Never seen The Craft?
No, I have seen The Craft.
You lay on the floor. Someone lays on the floor, and they they're sleeping, and then you put your two fingers underneath the person, and you go light as a feather, stiff as a board, light as a feather, stiff as a board, and you like raise the person.
Did you actually raise someone?
No, it's not real.
I mean,
it's like a Ouija board.
I think to an extent, like it depends on how much you believe in it. Like if you're totally not somebody who believes at all.
Well, that's true. It's like the same thing with the house. Me and Shane always think there's something here. We can hear things, so we're open to it, but you weren't really open to it, so you don't really hear the things.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. So maybe... But I'm generally open, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, if I acknowledge that there's something going on here, then they'll be more active and come at me. So I'm just going to pretend like I don't care and nothing's happening.
I think having to be in this house in the very beginning, knowing that I was going to film that music video for you guys, where did I die or Nancy die?
Nancy died.
I'm like, here we are again, thinking about death in an old house. So I'm just reliving memories, which is maybe the things that populate this world from the other side take advantage of that weakness in my defenses and sneak on through. And that's what I'm hearing. Because I swear to you, last week we were hearing things. Where you're at now, in West Virginia, there's weird stuff in that area, as far as I know. Are you experiencing anything?
Charlestown?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just driving through Charlestown. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, something's not right. The vibe is off.
I never really go out and walk around at night.
I wouldn't.
Is this for a reason?
I just don't. I don't have a whole lot of time to do it, for one. I don't know, man. It's I know there's like dead bodies from the Civil War everywhere in this part of the state.
Yes, that is the thing. Well, I know in Charlestown, I said this on IRL last week, there are huge caverns underneath the town.
Really?
That they found, like, I think they found some bodies in some, and I think there's a theater. I think it's a theater. I believe the theater is abandoned currently, and it's got some giant cavern beneath it and like a tunnel system. My fear is that it's going to be a sinkhole at some point.
Dude.
But this whole area has a ton of caverns. In Virginia, and in Maryland, you can go to a lot of
Gotta
places.
be one under this house then.
I said earlier, this is a hellmouth. You know, like, I think something is wrong with this
Well, you
house.
said there's a hole in the wall in the basement?
There is, like, literally,
I have never looked back there, but I've been told it kind of goes for a bit.
because
I'm
it's
telling you,
in
go
the
watch
foundation.
It. Go watch the movie Barbarian with Justin Long. It's fairly new. It's basically
Are we
that.
living that?
Well, like Justin Long gets this like Airbnb, and like the basement, there's a basement door, and he goes down there, and there's a hole in the wall, and then like that leads to there's something behind the hole.
What if we're just being experimented on? You know, like there's a larger thing happening here that we're just not privy to, whether it's aliens.
Wait, by Tim or just-
by Tim, and they put us here just to watch, you know, us all go mad. Carter's immune to it, but you and I are just like every day we're like, what is going on in this house? Why? Every time we leave this room, something weird happens.
Cameras everywhere, they're always on.
Yeah, that too.
Right. Maybe it is some type of paranormal Big Brother that we don't know about.
I mean, I believe it.
And you know, the state of West Virginia, I mean, there's a lot of like drug stuff here, right? And don't you connect
Drugs open
drugs
portals.
to exactly?
Drugs open portals. There's a lot of meth.
That opens portals?
Oh yeah, that's a theory that taking drugs.
Oh yeah, like the psilocybin type stuff.
Well, there's that. They would say, you know, taking certain things get you to see the machine elves. I guess that's.
Dude, have you ever heard about this this trend where kids will take like they'll overtake what is it, Benadryl?
No, I took other things, but not.
Well,
that.
there's like this whole wormhole or this iceberg of things on the internet or on YouTube. I watched this video. There's like a 700 Club where you see the Hat Man and all this weird stuff.
God.
Or if they just take a bunch of tabs of Benadryl. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But like it apparently brings everyone to the same place, and it's really
Interesting.
bad.
Interesting.
I mean,
We
I'll
didn't do
take
that.
one melatonin, and I'm like, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do anything anymore. But in my previous life, there was a lot of that pharmaceuticals and other stuff. And I don't know if we all went to the same place, but I went somewhere for
But see,
sure.
I just feel like if you're gonna say it's the drugs, and does it really count?
Well, it could be the thing that opens it up because it would connect to ideas of people going to a shaman to take ayahuasca or something to visit a place, you know, to open up, to thin the veil between whatever is here and there.
But that seems like therapy.
Could be. What I was doing was not therapy,
Right.
and when I took certain plants, we'll say, I don't know if I said this before or not, but when I took mushrooms, when I ate those, every time, for the first 3 or 4 times, no matter how much I took, I would pass out within 30 or 40 minutes into it. I think from like a fear, because there was no going back. And this happened the very first time, and then a few next times, I think because of the first time, what went down. But 30 or 40 minutes into it, I started sweating, and then I would pass out. And then I'd wake up, and oddly enough, it has nothing to do with the name of the show. Everything was upside down. Everything was inverted. My vision was upside down, and my friends would say I was talking and it sounded like it was upside down.
But
like,
that's the point. Well, not exactly.
I didn't want that to happen. Like, I was not happy about that happening.
Yeah.
And they would wear off, and I'd be fine, and it was totally fine. But
Imagine if it never wore off.
Yeah.
honestly,
That would suck.
I think sometimes I wonder, Carter. Sometimes I wonder because it happened all those times, and it was very bothersome.
They say that like excessive or like just smoking marijuana for some people can bring on full-blown schizophrenia if it's like in your
I think
history.
I think anyone everyone's different with all these things, and everyone has different reactions, whether it's alcohol, substances, whatever. Everyone's got something different going on with them. And for me, I just realized I had to cut out, not everything. Like, I still have a drink here and there, but I don't do anything else. I don't mess with stuff. Because it opens up something in me, like paranoia. I'm already paranoid enough.
Oh man.
I'm living in a Big Brother nightmare with the paranormal house. I can't do anything else, you know? Why, you have anything like that for you?
I mean, I just don't do the plants because it just doesn't do the same thing for me that it does for everyone else.
Everyone else is having a great time.
Yeah.
And I'm
paranoid?
like, I'm trapped,
Yes,
I'm
and I
trapped in a hell. What was the second part? What did you say?
Hallucinations and stuff. It's just like the anxiety. It's just weird. It's
So
not.
maybe you are like,
I think I probably have the same thing you do.
maybe you're astral projecting.
Could be.
Like, it's triggering some astral projection in you.
It's triggering something, and it's just not fun. Like, sometimes it's just like not. I remember a time in college or whatever, like I had, tried a little bit of the plant, and I just like hallucinated this person sleeping on a couch, and so I slept on the floor next to this person because I couldn't. It's like, well, there's no room on the couch, obviously I'll sleep on the floor. It turns out no one was ever on the couch, but I had seen this person get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, come back, just like normal stuff. So weird. So they're like, why'd you sleep on the floor last night? You were the only one up here. I'm like, what?
To what extent do you think you stop thinking that anything's possible? Like, do you think there are evil people in DC right now that are lizards? Like, do you stop at a certain point? You're like, that's too much.
With the lizard
Alex,
people.
they're lizards in Washington D.C. That's why it's a swamp. That's why it's a swamp. They're like, it's like a heat rock, and they're all there.
Maybe it's like a metaphor.
Like, do you stop at a certain point?
I want to say there's like a, what do you call it? Like an Overton window from my brain with what's acceptably ridiculous.
Where does it end? Where does it end?
I would say it kind of like that's at the edge.